Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm introducing the tune, The Star of the County Down, for us to learn on our low and high D whistles. Interestingly, and I'll explain that in a minute, you could play this one on a low or high C whistle. It'll make sense in a minute. The Star of the County Down is listed as a march on the session website. That's really because of the time signature and the flow of the tune. I've heard it described as a ballad. If you read the lyrics, please read the lyrics. It looks and reads like a ballad. However, when you listen to people play it, it doesn't, and sing it, which I want you to do, it doesn't sound like a traditional ballad because it's pretty, it's a driving tune, it's going to be fun, and so it's pretty fascinating. Anyway, so don't pigeonhole this one into anything. It's just a really fun song with a lot of characteristics similar to a lot of pigeonhole categories for music. So anyway, in a minute, I'm going to talk about the setting I've chosen for the tune. But first, we'll follow our usual pattern. I'll provide a link at the top of the notes to this video so that you could access the page on my website from which to download the music and tabs if you use those. I'll walk us through the tune. It's verse, chorus, and the chorus repeats. So I'll slowly play the verse for us first. And then I'll slowly play the chorus once through for us first with some pauses in there. And the idea is that at this point you're learning the tune. And if I'm watching someone if I'm learning a tune by watching someone, I actually like to just watch and listen the first time through. Starting around the second time through, I don't put the whistle to my mouth yet. I'm trying to watch their hands and use my fingers to do what their fingers are doing. And then maybe the third or fourth time through, I'm going back and I'm trying to play that. That's how I do that, and you do you. Some have found that recommendation helpful. So after I walk us through the verse and the chorus, I'm then going to share the play along with Scott's section where I play the entire tune, verse, chorus, repeated chorus, without ornamentation, just the core of the tune so that you could play along with me once you feel like you've got the tune down. Because you're going to build your expression and ornamentation and pace off of the core of the tune. So anyway, then we'll talk about difficulties you might experience. I'll share some ornamentation and expression ideas, and we'll talk about a bit of the history of the tune. Now, I said I'd talk in a minute about the transcription I've made. You're going to see a number of transcriptions for this tune. If you go to the session website, a lot of other websites, you're going to find this transcribed in a variety of ways, which is really quite fascinating. I went back to the older folk tune to make sure that I was crafting my transcription off of that, and yet ensuring that it followed the flow of the way everybody enjoys it today. But we have a whistle that requires us to play either a C sharp or C natural, but an F sharp. That's that first sharp you're going to experience. So if you transcribe the tune with just one sharp so that you could play it that way, you're going to play starting on a G, and you're going to live in the lower notes. And that's great. I'll add a link on the page of my website. So if you want to see the transcription with one sharp, it'll be there. But the challenge is you can't really drive the tune well transcribed in that way, which is why I said you could also play this in C. If I transcribe it, there's only one situation where you would have played an F sharp. So I transcribed it, and it was just in a step in at the end of the first repeat on the chorus. So I just removed that, and a lot of transcriptions have this with no sharps or flats, and it simply works. You'll see this on the session website, so it's going to be easy. Anyway, that's that. So here is the verse. I'll go at a steady, slow pace so that you can learn the core of the tune with me. Oh, I think I forgot to mention, I'm playing my Howard low D with the balanced head today. Another side note, so that's the verse. I try to accentuate my finger movement. I don't recommend you play by lifting your hands that far off of your whistle. Anyway, here is the chorus. Okay, that's the chorus. And at the end of the first time through, when you're playing that last A, you're going to hit an E as the step-in note back to the beginning. Alrighty, now I'll play through the entire tune in the play along with Scott section. Right, that's the whole tune. So remember, I add chapters so you can jump back and forth. If you want to go back to the introduction to the verse or the chorus, you could jump back there by using the chapters. You want to go to back to the play along with Scott section a couple of times, you could do that. Doing all that because I'm hoping it'll make it easier for you to learn the tune. Now, let's think about any difficulties I think you may encounter. I think this is a reasonably straightforward tune. You're not required to play anything above that second octave G. That may require some focus for you. You can either tongue that, or you could slide to it from the E, or add another ornament that would help you transition to that. Just pay attention to your breath pressure there. There may be some challenges, I think, when you're picking up the pace because, like I said, the tune, it doesn't like drive really fast, but it's got quite a pace to it. So you'll want to learn it at a slower pace and then start building up your ability to play it faster. And now thinking ornamentation and expression, I'll recommend what I normally do. I never will dictate to you. Well, maybe I will some at times, at odd occasion. But I don't want to tell you how to ornament a tune. Ornamentation and expression are so personal. I've heard this played rarely as a ballad, because ballads feel very thoughtful. Just almost approaching an air. And yet at the same time, I normally hear this played a little quicker and sometimes even faster than that. So you want to use ornamentation and expression that marries with the mood of the tune. And normally it's just this happy-go-lucky story about a boy that's seen this beautiful girl, fallen head over heels in love with her, and he's going to do whatever he can. And so the star of County Down is this beautiful girl he's seeing. And the story and the verses are about all the things he's willing to do. Such a great tune. Fun story. So use ornamentation and expression that's going to be going to accentuate the fun that you normally experience in tune. It's a bit of a driven tune. So you find there's some really good popular recordings. Go to YouTube when we're done and listen to just a bunch of people. You've got a slightly slower version, Van Morrison, the Chieftains do it, just so many people. So it's quite the blast. I often say, listen to somebody playing it on a whistle. I will say that, but I first recommend this one that you listen to groups playing it, because that's where you're going to get the real mood of the tune that you're then going to take to your whistle. In a couple of days, I'll share my practice session. So you're going to do a little sliding, cuts, taps, some rolls, because you've got repeated notes that you need to mess around with those repeated notes and do some personalization there. I'll share a practice session. Between now and my practice session, my request to you is learn the core of the tune. So let's think through the history of the tune just a little bit. This is a great tune to use as a description. I'm going to set my Howard down here. This is a great tune to use to talk about how poems and tunes kind of marry together, and then the tune might be pulled out and put with another poem, or the poem might be put out and put with another tune. In this situation, this apparently, from everything I can gather, is an old English folk tune that was called the Plowboy's Dream, or the Plowboy's, a number of variations. We're not certain how old that tune is, but the poem behind the tune was crafted sometime in the latter half of the 18th century. And then, around the middle of the 19th century, there was an English vicar, John Broadwood, who was collecting English folk tunes. And he included the words, the lyrics, and the music. And so that was pretty cool. And that was published like middle-ish of the 19th century. But at the very beginning of the 20th century, a gentleman named Vaughan Williams was asked to craft a hymn book. So what he did, he had a bunch of Christian poems, and he found a bunch of folk tunes, because that's what a lot of people did. He took the music of the folk tunes and married them with the Christian poems. He wouldn't tell people which folk tunes he used, because sometimes he massaged the music to fit the poem. That makes perfect sense. You see how this is all flowing in and out of each other? So the tune of the Plowboy was used to marry with one of the poems that Vaughan Williams was stitching together for his hymn book. And so over time, this tune that was used for different things became known as Kingsfold. Whew, now we need the Irish piece. Cathal McGarvey from County Donegal. Beautiful, such a... I'd go tomorrow. Anyway, Cathal McGarvey from County Donegal wrote the poem, The Star of the County Down. And he most likely wrote the poem a little before 1890. And remember, music is flowing back and forth. Scotland, Ireland, different parts of Ireland, different parts of Scotland, England, Ireland. And so it's likely that Cathal took the tune, that English folk tune, and married it with his poem. And so the tune that we have today, that we know of as The Star of the County Down, that is Cathal's lyrics and the English folk tune, fun English folk tune, got married together. And so go to YouTube, find groups playing it. It's so fun. Look up the lyrics. Just look up Google or whatever search engine is your favorite. Lyrics to The Star of the County Down. Really fun. You could just listen to them when you're watching a group sing it. I love it. My friends, I hope you enjoy playing Star of the County Down. If this video is helpful, please like it. Subscribe to the channel, because we do all kinds of great stuff. Learning the whistle. We're focused on the low D, and there are very few channels focused on the low D. And so that's a goal, though we throw in a lot of high D stuff too. If you know someone who's wanting to learn the low D, please share our channel with them. Until next time, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling, friends.